Hello, in this video I'm going to go through 12 candle must-haves. They're the things I wish I had in the beginning, things that have improved my business, streamlined everything, and there's a few little candle hacks in there, maybe a few surprises. So let's get into it. So the first one, it might seem obvious to a lot of you, but it is actually just getting a wax melter. One of these. Hello. So it's a wax melter. I simply plug this one in and the whole thing heats up. There's this bit which you plug in, which is like the thermostat that heats everything up, and then with an element in it, and then it's simple, it's perfect. This one heats up really quickly. I can heat up about 4 liters of wax in about 30 minutes. So this one has just streamlined my business. In the beginning, let me just put this down. In the beginning, I was doing everything in a double boiler on the stove, and it's fine when you're just starting out. It's perfectly fine. That's how we all start out. We all start out with the bare minimum and the basics, just to understand candle making and just to understand how these things work. But I could probably only make about 10 candles in an hour, and it took me ages. The next thing I tried to level up with was I went to B&M and I got like just a slow cooker, but that didn't really work. It didn't really heat anything up very quickly. And then the next thing I got was like some kind of like frying pan type thing. It was about this thick, so I couldn't get much wax into it. I could plug it in, but I'd have to ladle everything out, and it was a real pain. Then I got like a soup kettle that you get in cooking, which is really good. I could get loads of wax in there. I could get about 10 liters, but it didn't have a spout, so I'd have to keep scooping everything out. I think I got that for about £40 on eBay, and that was a good level up. But I've got 2 of these now, and they're the workhorses of my business. They heat up really quickly. They got a little spout so you can pour everything out. And for me, it just works great. You can get bigger ones. I think next on my list is to get a bigger wax melter, but at the moment, that little fella is great. So if you have the money, I would recommend just getting a little wax melter. Get something like that in the beginning, straight from the get-go. It's about 50, 60, 70 quid, depending on what you want to get. So it will just speed up your process. It will make life a lot easier. You're going to waste less. It's just a no-brainer. So get a wax melter. And number 2 in your quest for getting candle making equipment, I would recommend getting some heat guns. If you haven't already got one, get one. It took me months before I decided to get a heat gun. I think in the beginning what I wanted to try and do was master candle making. I thought I could get perfect glass adhesion. I thought I could get perfectly smooth tops, no frosting, all that kind of stuff. So I spent ages trying to make the perfect candle, which it is doable, but it's not always possible due to environmental changes, heat fluctuations and all sorts. So when I got one of these little heat guns, it just made everything so much easier. Any imperfections, any bumpy tops, sinkholes, all sorts, I could smooth it out immediately. So this one I got a while ago. It's not as good as this one. It's about 250 watt, but if you're just starting out, it was about 10, 15 quid. For sort of vegetable wax and soy waxes, it works perfectly. You can smooth out your tops. This one is slightly more industrial. It's for like stripping paint and doing stuff like that. But this one heats up super quick. So this is 2000 watts. It gets hot. It does everything I need to. And I use it pretty much every single time I make candles. More often than not, I've been in a rush. I've poured them. I haven't worried about certain temperatures to get glass adhesion, to worry about bumpy tops, and then this just fixes all my problems. So make a load of candles. If you've got any issues, if you've got any sinkholes, you need to adjust some wicks or move some things around, you can finish and fix anything with this. So I would just get one. 25 quid this cost, and I use it every single day. I've had several so far. They do burn out after a while, but they're a cheap investment. And number 3, my favorite hack of all, is gasket silicone. Yes, gasket silicone, something here which is designed for cars and plugging holes in your gasket, I think. I don't know anything about cars, so anyway. It's something I saw a while ago on a YouTube video, so I can't take credit for it. It's from Stanley Handcrafting. You've probably seen these videos around if you're into this kind of stuff, which you probably are because you're watching a video about candle making. And when I first started out, I started out with a glue gun. That just took ages. I found the whole process annoying. Then I moved on to the Wickham, so those little stickers you get that you stick on the bottom of your wicks. They were okay, but I also found that a bit tedious and just a bit, I don't know, I hated doing it. And then I also found, as my candle jars got a bit hot down the bottom, sometimes the Wickhams had the odd occasion they might just move, and that becomes obviously quite dangerous because your wick is floating around. It's going to be too close to the glass, like the side of your glass here, which could cause like cracks or breakages and things like that. It needs to be centered, so it needs to stay in one place. And that's when I started using this, and I haven't looked back. It is amazing. Because it's supposed to, what's it say on here? Grey silicon sealant with a high temperature stability up to 230 degrees. So your candles are never going to get that hot, so it means your wick is always going to stay in one place. It's going to stay there forever. So once you've like stuck it down, it is just permanent. And also it means if you've got like, say for instance, I've got a wick like this, which is slightly off center, I can make a hole and I can move it, and I can be quite vigorous with it because I know it's not going to move. So for fixing problems like that, it's amazing. And for speed as well, if you've seen some of my other videos, you've probably seen me use this before, but I just get a dab with this and I just stick the wick down and I just do loads of them in one go. There's no double processes, there's no like getting your wick sticker, sticking it on and then doing it. It's just one seamless process. And if you get your Wick Master 3000, which I haven't patented yet, I haven't started producing them. It's basically just a hollowed out biro. You stick your wick in it, gasket silicone, boom, and then just keep going. So yeah, try something like this, see if you like it. It might not be for everyone. It is just what I use, and it has sped up the process massively, so yeah. Number 4 on the list, just a selection of wicks. Having lots of different wicks will just help. It just helps with your testing. When I first started off candle making, I got just stuck on one type of wick. I don't know why. I got stuck on just using TCR wicks, these ones down here. I don't know why. It was obviously my newbie nature and just my limiting beliefs. I just thought I could master one wick and I could make the perfect candle with it. That's not true. Different wicks, different waxes, they all work differently. So whenever I buy a new wax or whenever I want to start a new candle range, I test lots of different wicks to see which burn the best. And that way I can establish what candle I want to make. And because I've got options, I can try stuff, I can experiment, I can do things. So down here, I'm going to show off a bit now, show you my wick collection, because I'm cool. Christ. Anyway, there's all sorts down here. I've got eco wicks, I've got wooden wicks, I've got Stabilo wicks, there's CL wicks, there's wooden wicks, there's all sorts. I think I've bought every single wick I can find on the UK marketplace just to see, just to have options to test. It just helps, because sometimes I used to go and buy all these different things, I'd wait for them, and I get very impatient. When I get new ideas, I want to do it immediately and I want to make stuff. So just having a selection of wicks is great. It might not be possible in the beginning due to monetary funds, but if you can just maybe get 4 or 5 different wicks, roughly different sizes. Once you start making a few candles, you kind of know roughly what you need, but it just helps with testing. You can just see what works for you. You can write down some notes and it just makes sense. Don't do what I did. Don't settle on one wick. Don't try and master one wick. Just have yourself some options, which will lead me on to the next point, number 5. So on the same theme of having lots of different wicks, waxes, that's the next thing. Much like the wick situation, I was fixated on making one wax work for me. I think I just settled on, what did I settle on in the beginning? Maybe C6? And I was just looking for the perfect glass adhesion, the perfect scent throw, the perfect everything, and it just didn't work. I just couldn't get glass adhesion on it. And then I moved to SCX, and you can see these are lovely candles. Glass adhesion is great, but the scent throw isn't always great. It doesn't work with that many oils, I found. So I was just banging my head against the wall trying to perfect different waxes. And then as time progressed, I learned more and I started experimenting. So I tend to have a few different waxes around me all the time. So much like the wicks I'm going to show off and show you my wax collection. So at some point I'm going to do a few different videos about different waxes. So I've got some C3 here, got some RCX wax, got a big 25 kilos of coconut soy. We've got this, and we've also got a big 25 kilo block of paraffin wax. So, oh, blimey, bit of a workout. Obviously in the beginning you can't afford to have that many waxes because it is expensive. Candle making is expensive, but test lots of different things. Get a selection of different waxes. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get a kilo of most ones for about £5. So just spend a bit of money in the beginning, test some different waxes, get a few different wicks. Don't settle on just one thing like I did, because it's never going to work. And I was looking for something which didn't exist. I thought it was my practices and my candle making skills that were not producing the best candles, but it's a myriad of different things, and what I was looking for just didn't exist. It's best to try and find a wax that works for you and a wick that works for you, and then just go with it, run with it. It might not be the perfect candle in the world, it might just be a good candle, and that's kind of the best we can do with a lot of things, but having options helps. Running out of breath. Just having a selection of things around helps. So at any one time I've got maybe 4 or 5 different waxes, I've got loads of different wicks. So as I said, if I've got an idea, I can just try it, I can try different things. I can try wood wicks, I can try double wicks, because I've got lots of different things around, different sizes. So it just pays to have things for options. Now the next one is a bit of a surprise for me. It's a multi-tool, so it's got everything in one place, which saves me having to look around for everything, providing I don't lose this. But it's got pliers. So pliers, if I need to ever dig out a wick or change stuff. So when I'm doing candle testing, sometimes I maybe put a wick in and it's not performing well, so I can just use this, yank it out, stab in a new wick. Great. It's also got it's got a saw, so if I need to open any boxes. It's got a knife on the other side. I'm trying to cut my own fingers off. A knife, open boxes, slay your enemies, that kind of thing. It's also got some little scissors in it, which are absolutely brilliant for trimming my wicks. So I can do it with one hand, so I can literally go in here, boom, cut a wick. There's no, I mean, you do use scissors with one hand, but it just, I don't know, something about this. It just feels useful. It's a multi-tool I've had it lying around for ages, and I've recently started using it. It's just been awesome. It's just everything in one place. Knife, scissors, pliers, a little tool here if I want to scrape out some wax. I know it's a tin opener, but sometimes use it to like scoop out a bit of wax around the sides. Pretty cool. A surprising thing I never thought I'd be using for candle making. You can get lots of different ones pretty cheap. This one's quite expensive because it's a birthday gift, but I have found it incredibly useful. Next up, we're talking about printers. I've got 3 printers. Definitely showing off with them as well. So I've got a Mumbin thermal printer, which has been great. I can print my postage labels, and I do all the CLP labels on the bottom, as well as some nice little stickers. It's thermal, it lasts forever. It's never gonna run out of ink because it does some kind of wizardry. I've also got an Epson Eco Tank, which is just like an inkjet printer. But you get these, which you can pour into it. It's got a big old eco tank of ink, and they last forever. Honestly, it's just months and months worth of ink, even with the amount of stuff I print. So that print was about 200 quid, and it has just leveled up my game. I've also got not a thermal printer, it is a laser printer, like a little brother one, has about 100 quid, and I use that for my Amazon labels. I use that for postage labels as well. So the benefits of having several printers. 1, I don't need to wait for things to be postaged, because in the beginning I was getting my labels printed, I was getting the CLP labels printed. Sometimes they can take a week, sometimes they can take 2 weeks, and it's a pain, especially when you're busy. So granted, the quality of my printing isn't as good as me getting stuff done from Avery, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's alright for what I'm doing. So that is what my box labels look like, and I think it's not bad. It's not bad, it serves the purpose. At some point I can level up and get better printers, but for now, it's perfectly fine. It facilitates my need, and it helps with just flexibility. I don't have to wait for things to be posted. If I want to do custom labels, I can do it. If I want to change stuff, I can do it. I can just do stuff now. I don't need to wait for things. I don't need to design the artwork, send it off, get it proofed, get it sent back. It just means I can do stuff now, and it means I can create stuff whenever I want. Because I am impulsive, I get a lot of ideas, I want to do them immediately, and it just helps me do that. So if you haven't got some printers, maybe just try getting an Eco Tank, try getting a thermal printer. You can do a lot with them. This is just recommendations, this is just things I found very useful, and it works out cheaper for me printing my own labels. I get all of my paper from Avery, and there's programs that you can get everything to sort of fix all the margins, because that was one of my My concerns in the beginning was, how am I going to get everything to fit in the right place? And it's much easier than I thought. There's software and programs for it. I thought I'd have to do it all in like Microsoft Publisher and try and get all the exact like numbers and measurements and coordinates, and I'd have to create some crazy stuff, but it's actually been incredibly easy. So we'll get onto softwares and other things. I'll just quickly show you how all these printers work and what you can expect from them. So just a quick demo with the Mum Bin printer. So we've got the printer here. We've got different papers. So behind it, I've got like the postage labels, and at the minute I've got 2-inch little round labels. Is what I use for my CLP labels. But we can also print like logos and stuff like that. So I've got a little Suffolk Candles logo, and we'll just show you how quickly we can print with it. So I've got 5 here. They're going to come out. They're going to come out rapidly. So that is just super cool. And like I said, there's no ink needed. It is thermal. They come out. You can also get different colored papers, which I'll show you in a second. Yeah, so you can also get brown papers like this. There's lots of different colors you can get. On Amazon, I buy all of them. You can get the Mum Bin papers, but they are quite expensive. You can get slightly cheaper ones, a bit like the Eco Tank ink. You can get slightly cheaper. I say knockoff versions, but they work perfectly fine. So I think I got these for about £7.99, whereas normally the Mum Bin like official labels cost about 14 quid. But do whatever you think's right. I'd save some money. And then I've got my labels here. So these are the labels I put in my candle jar. So if I can just print, that'll come out of my inkjet. And then we'll just have a look and see how that comes out. So this inkjet was about £200, I think. And it's been wicked. Like the quality for me is perfect for what I need. You see, it's pretty punchy, it's pretty good. It's not going to be as good as Avery printing, but for what I need and the flexibility it provides, it just works excellently. So that's what the labels come out like. It's got all my information on there. I really like it. It works perfectly. And I think the quality's good enough. I'm happy with it. All my customers seem happy. So just having printers gives you that option to do stuff. You don't need to wait for people. You don't need to wait for postage. Just means you can do stuff now. And there's one more thing on the lines of like printing and paper that I found quite useful, and that's a guillotine. So I've got this one on Amazon. I've had other ones before and they're just a bit rubbish, but this one's a beast. You could even chop your own fingers off if you want, but I wouldn't recommend that. Don't do that, please don't. This one down here, so we pop out the blade and it's like that. It's like proper slicey. So sometimes I do like little stickers if I'm doing like gift sets. So I've got this one here that goes with like a bookshop gift set. So I print these off with my printer using paper from Avery. It just means you can sort of pop stuff in, give it a slice, and yeah, it's just, this one is super sharp. So yeah, see how good that comes out. It just, yeah, I found it useful. It's good for just chopping paper. I've had some crap guillotines before. You can just make your own stickers and do stuff. So yeah, little cheap guillotine. I think it's £25 on Amazon. So Canva is my absolute favorite software. It's all online. It saves everything online. So I've got the pro version, which means you can do quite a lot of stuff. You can have access to all their sort of graphics and images, but you basically just, if I wanted to make a candle label, for instance, I just type in candle label, it'll bring me a load of templates so I could find something I like. So something like that, that looks pretty cool. We can put that in there so I can change what I want to, things that suit me. So this is gonna be a real quick one. Old books like that. Get rid of that. Story candles, because that's part of my brand. Then we can change that to hand poured in Suffolk. So I don't want this video to be like how to use Canva, but I just want it to give you a quick idea of why I love Canva and what I use it for. So we can keep that for now, but then we could put in like old books. We can put in like little graphics as well. So I could whack in something like that. Oh, that's pretty good actually. Move that up a bit. Whack that little old book in there and move that down. Don't really like that, so we'll change that to just Suffolk Candles. Then we can change the font if we wanted to. So I could change it to something like that. Oh yeah, that looks old. So that's just an example of how to make quick candle labels. So Canva's wicked for this. I use it for basically everything. So if we quickly just go to my home page, you can see the stuff I've been doing on there. So there's YouTube thumbnails, there's my other labels, smaller labels, bits there, CLP labels. So Canva is absolutely wicked. Moving on. Hello, it is now the end of the video and the end of the day, so I've showered and I look a bit fluffy. So for continuity purposes, things have changed, my appearance has changed. But yes, that's basically everything I've been using for my little candle business. Everything I wish I used in the beginning just to make life easy. I wish I just committed to these things. Admittedly, cash flow, I didn't have the money to do it, so I couldn't necessarily do it at the time. But having things like the printer has just allowed me flexibility to do stuff when I want. Those softwares like Canva, that's just been amazing for creating candle labels, CLP labels, creating web articles, doing infographics, all of that has just been awesome. There's Avery, which I think I touched on. I just print my labels on their software. It sizes everything up. It's great. Adobe Lightroom, which I haven't really talked about too much, but it's basically where I just edit my photos. I touch everything up, change the sort of saturation, the exposure, play around with clarity, make everything pop, make it look good. So it's just all the bits, all the things to make life easy, all the things to streamline your business. So hopefully you found this video useful. I'll put a link down below. There will be affiliate links, so if you do buy anything through them, I will get paid a small amount of money. It's not a lot, so I'm not scamming anyone. It just helps me out for helping you out. So yeah, that's it pretty much. If you found the video useful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I make videos about my candle business, and that's it. So yeah, I will see you later. See you in the next vlog. Sort this out. Good night.